sir, then I'll give solution 19, I'll be done. Go ahead, Jay.
You mentioned what Mr. Cruz said about 40 hours of your press.
That's right.
40 hours speech. So,
Come on.
just thinking, in the ULA, we said that we have to execute no excuses. Like, get the job done without excuses. Like, we never gave ourselves a pass. So, where does it fall in line? Like, so, getting us our agendas moved forward, how much accountability are, like, do we have an obligation to getting the job done? Or like, you being creative to execute our stuff, or do we take losses and just kind of move on to the next thing?
So, no, we don't take losses. At least we try not to take losses. Accountability, in order for people to be accountable, they have to be committed. One of the reasons I'm so close to the brother that left, Brother Asquad, is he and I existed in a community that had accountability because we were all committed to the same vision of empowerment and freedom. If Brother Chance isn't committed to what I'm committed to, then he ain't gonna be accountable to me no matter what I say. But if he and I are on the same page and we agree that we're gonna do this thing together, then I can hold him accountable because we're on the same page. So if you're on the same page with whomever, you can hold them accountable, and they might push back, but they're gonna be open to it because you guys are on the same page. It's a process, and sadly, brother, I have people that say they want to be a part of what we're trying to do, but people they quit before they get started because they didn't understand. Some got the feelings hurt, so it's hard to hold somebody accountable when they're not on the same page that you are.
I've been asked the wrong question. Sorry,
maybe I answered the wrong question.
No, you were perfect. I asked it wrong. Okay, but I was saying, like, our obligation to find the right answer, like, that's our job, especially since we're the drivers of the culture.
Sure.
Like, so it's our job to, like, our people don't agree with the power brokers who are kind of controlling the culture. They don't agree. They're just getting played like puppets, to do it. So it's like, that's my thing about, like, our responsibility. Like, so even before they agree, or before they understand and get on the same page, or they may not agree, but it's our job. It's dancing that'll be theirs over there to the pole. Well, let's play the music. Bubbles over behind us over there.
Yeah,
like, that's our obligation to, like, be. Right.
So if I'm hearing you properly, I'm hearing you say, and then I gotta give it a chance up here. But from my understanding of what you're saying, let me know if I'm wrong, is that you're saying by any means necessary, we need to do what's required to get our people to move.
We need to be more effective. Exactly.
Amen.
We're not being effective.
Amen.
Look at that.
Amen. And that kind of everybody has touched on it, and Brother Shep has most certainly said it. To get a people who are a non-people activated to do anything that's going to require real work, that's not about satisfying their base needs, going to the bathroom, eating, going to work, is difficult. We got to keep in mind that 400 years, but not, I think you were here, and you've seen the slide before. I have a slide that shows, okay, so thanks for coming. I have a slide that bullet points that shows, since we've been here, if you were to add up all the years of everything we've been through, it would be over 2,600 years of stuff. We hadn't received any sort of counseling for that stuff. So we messed up in a lot of ways on purpose. We have to try very, very, very hard to love our people from where they are and not where we want them to be. Where you are, and I've told you this, you down the road and around the corner, you know black people over here trying to learn how to tie their shoes. You down the street and around the corner, and they over here trying to learn how to tie their shoes. So we have to backtrack, like Brother Sheriff said, we got to backtrack and understand where our people are and develop processes to get them to move. Because telling them, getting angry, putting hands on them, whatever, that ain't the answer. Because that ain't gonna.
When the Lord loves, He chases. Love don't always look like this.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to challenge you. then I gotta get my brother up here, because he got this thing, he got to close out. I'm gonna challenge you to find 10 people, do it your way, and then let me know how that turns out. Yeah, it ain't gonna work. And I'm gonna tell you why it's not gonna work. Because I'm not talking about people that you know. I'm talking just average. Matter of fact, me, you, and Chevy, we'll drive around, point to 10 black people. You go do it your way, and you'll $1,000, and you'll see why it won't work, because you can't make anybody do anything. Right. Okay. So if you know you can't make anybody do anything, all I can do, at least my suggestion is to give them a reason to do it, hope they get it, continue to converse, and keep it moving. Because I have to find the people that are willing, because we're, for this document and the purpose of this event, we're 400 plus years behind. So I'm not trying to get everybody. I don't want everybody, I don't need everybody. I'm trying to find a critical mass that gets it. Because just like they have leaders that put things in place and their people follow because they believe in these things, we got to do the same thing. It's never going to be everybody. We got to be the talented 10th. We got to be the intelligentsia. We got to be the people that put it together and have the masses follow, because the masses aren't ready to think and do on their own. But that's a process. You follow what I'm saying?
I accept your challenge.
Okay, well, we're going to see. I got to introduce my brother. All right. Chancellor Roberson. Chancellor, that was not my fault. I did not pay him. All right. Chancellor Roberson is a Galena Park Tri-County native and is a graduate of the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. After leading a stellar football career, watch out, Mr. Robinson came home to pursue a career in mental health and community advocacy. Never forgetting his love for education, Mr. Robinson also served as substitute teacher part-time in GPISD, Galena Park ISD, HISD, as well as KIPP, public school systems. Over the last 10 years, Mr. Robinson found his niche in the community through fundraising and providing opportunities for inner city youth to advance themselves and gain alternative education through community service and mentoring. Mr. Robinson served as a community care coordinator as well as a therapeutic life skills mentor for both adults and children in the Houston metropolitan area. Mr. Robinson also helped establish a local alumni chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha with some of his undergraduate chapter members who now reside in the Houston Spring, Missouri City area. As a native of the city, Mr. Robinson knew firsthand the struggles of the inner city and spared no resources to reach the youth at their level of understanding. Amen. Mr. Robinson has chosen to take a more active role in education to maximize his community efforts, as well as educate students and staff on mental health awareness and how we can all be part of the solution and offer healing to our communities. On that note, Brother Chancellor Roberson. I'll give it up for the 10.
Appreciate you, Brother Tamai, for having me here. Appreciate all you brothers and sisters being here today. Department of Labor was my task. I'm gonna keep it quick. So the Department of Labor advocates for all things employment, from your wages to the hours you're working, overtime, unemployment if you get fired, or resources that you have, your opportunities to be rehired to jobs. Also keeping track of data from when you apply for your jobs, from racial things to all of what is encompassed in employment. So I think that that's a very important task of the Department of Labor. The first thing that I saw that kind of struck a chord with me was when I looked at the Regis proposed things for Project 2025, I had to admit to myself that I was a person that was a little bit undereducated on what Project 2025 was. So I took an approach of, hey, brand new, I don't know what this is, let me see what it is. When I saw it, it just made me feel like, again, like they're gonna thrust us back into 1800s. So the Department of Labor, from my understanding, came from the labor movement in the early 1900s that already existed. We had a national black labor movement from the late 1800s. So to me, the labor movement and the civil rights movement kind of had similar similar points that they would like to cover. But I think that the labor movement kind of yielded more toward whites that wanted to work versus people of color. So in hindsight, I feel like that the Department of Labor kind of created a separation of protection for these people, but not protection for these people. We were still fighting for civil rights when people were happy with the working conditions. And at the same time, how can you be happy with the working conditions if you're not happy with how you're treated every day as a citizen in your community? So even working 40 hours a week now for myself, being an employed person, I've also had the opportunity to work for myself. So working for myself and then coming back into employment gave me the feeling of being in a trap. But I guess you'll never know that you're in a trap working if you've never worked for yourself. So a lot of our people come from a situation where we've never worked for ourselves, so we don't know what the feeling of freedom is. We know punching clocks, we know if you don't work, you don't eat. We know, oh, technically we have a 40-hour work week. Some companies that you work for will give you overtime as a lot of time and a half. Some companies will pay you straight pay, depending on who you're working for. Over the years, I've seen us become an at-will state, which means that at any time, your employer could come out and just fire you for no reason at all. You know, you didn't have to mess up. You can still be great at what you do, and they can let you go without any explanation. Also, they can come in and give you a disciplinary action of their opinion, which doesn't have to be factual at all. But as long as it's there, you can be fired on those terms and not even be able to receive unemployment. Looking at some of the things that I saw that they were trying to reduce with the Project 2025 was, the biggest thing that I saw was the complete deletion of EEOC. And to me, I always thought that was an opportunity to give us, as Blacks or any people of color, an opportunity to be equally represented in the workforce. Yeah, I believe they took that away and they gave any president, but more especially Mr. Trump, the opportunity to control who works and who doesn't work. We probably will be out of jobs as soon as possible. Because guess what? If we can't provide for ourselves and feed our families, they don't gotta kill us. We're gonna starve. Because most of our people don't know how to plant in the garden anymore. If they couldn't go to McDonald's or Jack in the Box to go eat, they literally would be non-existent. We watched it happen when COVID happened. When COVID happened and people couldn't go out no more, people had to stay home, people had to come up with creative ways to fend for themselves, to eat. People started cooking, people started coming more together with the people that lived around them. And at the same time, even though it took a pandemic to do it, it probably was something that was very needed. People never know what life looked like without working that 40-hour week. I heard a brother say earlier that we don't put time into ourselves. We put 40 hours into working a job. Most of the time, it doesn't benefit our community. It doesn't benefit the ideas that we stand for. But all it benefits is us being able to take that same money and give it right back into the hands of the oppressor. So, for me, dealing with the Department of Labor, I think one of our biggest solutions, of many solutions, would be to create more opportunities for us to be educated. And when I said to be educated, it brought me into the Department of Education. So I feel like the Department of Labor and the Department of Education are hand in hand because people have to be taught to be workers. If we came out and we taught each other how to be owners, how to have business and do partnerships with each other, where we trade services for one another, we don't even talk about money, then there would be no need for the Department of Labor. We have to be more invested in what we do in our own communities and how we work for ourselves versus just working a job for somebody else. So, just to be quick with everything, the Department of Labor has a genuine tasked to accomplish, but at the same time, it's because we were all taught to be workers. So I think we have to change our education, we have to change the way that we think, and become more business savvy in the ownership world so that we can partner for our productivity versus working. Because working seems like we'll never get there. Working for somebody else, you only building their dream. So for us to build our dream, we have to start with the dream. And we have to invest in that dream. We're part of some of the things that we're doing right now. We're working with youth programs. We're investing in our youth, changing their way of thinking early. Because it's going to be harder to change grown folks' mindsets than it is to instill into youth what they need to have as they're grown. I guess with that being said, anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
Okay, so, I have three, but I don't have as far as educating ourselves, what do you think the best way, the most realistic way for us to do that? Is it A, trying to get the Department of Education to actually do that on our behalf? Or B, create something in the community by which we can do it ourselves? What do you think is the most realistic way that we can go about educating ourselves? We can't have a mindset of only our supposed to.
Okay, so in my opinion, if the Department of Education is going to do it, it will be done, right? And I'm sure that it was strategically placed to educate us in a certain way so we couldn't escape this trap of being workers. Education does start at home. So I feel like it's incumbent upon us as families to start their education as young as possible. From the early points of child early development to start teaching them what we need them to know before it's time to go to grade school. Because we got kids that's coming to grade school speaking Bible, and then you have kids that come into grade school already knowing how to read and write. And that's a difference maker.
Yeah. Okay. Amen. Anybody else have a question for the Chance?
Yes, sir.
We're conscious in this room and in these assemblies. If we don't pool our resources and do some type of, and create some type of industry ourselves inside these conscious settings, what does that say to the community and the people we're talking to? If we don't have any businesses ourselves, we just have smooth rap in the information. Like most teachers teach. I'm a teacher, but I start businesses too.
Right.
You know, most teachers can't do nothing, but teach. They can't do. I teach it, I do. So my point is, in these conscious settings, we got the information, but if we don't do nothing, what does that say?
I understand exactly where you're coming from. It says that people are not going to pay attention. If they don't see it coming from us first off, they're not going to follow us. Most of the people that are out there we're talking about are going to follow. They're not spearheading anything. So to answer your question, I believe that it's up to us. We have to start, even if we start a 6-day school, and I mean just having school on a Saturday or a Sunday. We used to have Sunday school back in the day. People say it was church, but everything was going on in Sunday school.
Yeah.
We were educating in Sunday school. We got to get back to that, having academies, having our own schools in our communities, whether it's a home that everybody comes to once out the week or twice out the week, where we can educate, because they're going to school and getting brainwashed. So to combat what's already in place, I swear, if we had one day, we could change the narrative with one day, because we're instilling them enough. I like to choose the sponge mechanism. A sponge gonna absorb whatever you pour upon it. It's gonna get full and it's gonna run.
Yeah.
It's gonna run. But guess what? It's a heavy amount of that water that's still in that sponge. So you squeeze it out, pour it in. And so we saturate our own youth with the education we want to get, to counter the education that they going to school every day, because we got to go to work. Because technically, school is a daycare. Because we going to work, and they don't want the kids running the neighborhoods. Go ahead, brother.
And I I've been fighting for a $15 an hour minimum wage for 11 years now. I traveled a lot. Just came back from Dallas, just to San Antonio last month. It's DC at the end of the month. And I always go to our communities and I'll say, brothers and sisters, we don't ever create industry. We continue to have that employee mindset, but the truth is, 6 out of 10 brothers are workers. 4 out of them have the potential to be a leader. 10-man mentality. So I'm cool with, brothers continue to be workers, because we need workers. But with you being a native to the region, what are 3 or 4 industries that you think would benefit us as a community if we pooled our resources? If we had C.J. Stroud, Proj, Drexler, pour their resources into creating industry, we think 3 or 4 industries would be that would benefit, brothers and sisters in this region.
3 or 4 industries. I would have to say, just off top, in my mind, I like to talk to youth about things that are going to constantly grow. I talk about lawn and landscaping. Going to constantly grow, going to constantly need to be managed and maintained. I talk about how we look, grooming, how we care, how we wear our hair, how we do things. We're special people, but those things also have to be maintained and groomed. And we also have to look at it as a state of, look at those people who are coming into our communities and building businesses. What are they doing? They're taking those jobs directly from the communities. We have beauty salons in every community.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're making $1 billion, right? But that same $1 billion is taking money out of the lady next door who have a small distribution hair company that ain't making no money, right? Now, those businesses that are coming into those communities that's not benefiting those communities financially or putting money back into that development, we ought to also be able to take those let me find a good word for it, those infiltrators away from those communities. And all have to be done at the same time. So you gotta have people that's gonna be on the forefront of this side and on the forefront of this side. So another industry I feel like is education, the institution of education is big business. So if we had an opportunity to start our own institutions, and I'm talking about from primary school on through to the highest level of college education, world education, not just this Texas education. Because this Texas education slave. The first time a Black kid or Hispanic kid hear about themselves in the education system that we in right now, he was bound and shackled. When the true world history say you was kings, you was queens, you was all these things. So we have to instill that into them as the youth. So they grow up already having this level of confidence within themselves because the society gonna tear you down. And if we don't have resilience, our communities don't have resilience no more. We going through stuff and we know how to go through the struggle, but we don't know that we should wear that with pride. The struggle build character, right? So when you face opposition, the goal is to challenge yourself mentally to get through the opposition. Not to say, oh, whoa, somebody stop me. I'm gonna quit right here. Because that's what most of them do. Like if you punch a kid in the face, you're not gonna come back and fight you. You're gonna go grab a strap. But when the consequences that come with that, when you go down to jail, guess what you're gonna have to do? Fight. The fight same fight you could have fought before you grab that strap. Right, you ain't got no guns in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, since talking about all the living, I know you can be educated. You just spoke of my spirit this in, I was just talking to brothers out on Thursday and Friday. I would love, I got some practical ideas. And Saturday school is definitely part of it. I'm speaking with folks in Savannah, Atlanta, and in Jackson about Saturday school about 3 Black people that didn't say kids. But I'm interested in your perspective. On one hand, I don't really think we can get the guns out of our kids' hands. Like he is saying, bro, you can't get guns, you can't take guns.
That's true.
What do you think we have to do to get them to put the guns down?
They're not gonna put the guns down. A lot of them got warrior spirits in them.
They gotta trust you.
Yeah. They either gotta trust you, or we have to show them how to protect what it is that they say they love so much. You love this block, you love this community, protect it. Because back in the day, that's what these community organizations that they call gangs now was created for. To protect us, not to destroy us. If we went back to just the basis of that, we wouldn't have to put the guns down. We need more gun education. You know, and that should be not just given to just the Boy Scouts or kids who can make it to, you know, the side of the school. It should be a part of everything that we're doing. If you see some youngsters out there with a gun, yeah, it's probably good to protect yourself, but at the same time, if you get opportunity to be in their ear, give them the real. Don't say don't do this or don't do that, because it's in their nature to oppose what you're saying. But if you show them how they could do it better, or hey, if you really want to do this, let's do it this way. And let them know, hey, it's okay to have arms, but don't destroy your own people with it, under no circumstance. Under no circumstance. If I got an issue with you, Brother Chevis, it's easy for one of us to pull a trigger and down the other one, but is that gonna fix the issue? Not at all. And my thing is, we have intelligent brothers that have lost their life or have given their life to the system behind bars because they couldn't have a conversation. So we gotta give them social skills back. We gotta let them know that we're here to support them, and they do have to trust in us, but we have to show them a reason to trust in us. So that's just where my standpoint is on it. Yes, sir.
And all of that will change, goes back, you gotta have a culture that's pro us, and not something that somebody else gave us that's destroying us.
Yes, sir.
So, Brother Craig talked about it when I mentioned it. The 6 pillars of empowerment, the first one is spirituality, the second one is right culture. And you have a wrong culture, and that's what we're seeing. So if we don't create a culture by which we are building our children, what we want them to have, so it's overflowing, then America is going to continue to take over. Now they're going to see individuals.
They're gonna suck it right out of it.
Yeah. That's what they do.
Right.
Any other questions for King?
I appreciate it.
Okay, but my question was answered, so thank you, I appreciate
Appreciate y'all.
All right, on that note, I'm gonna do these last 2 solutions. That's what I was gonna give 10, and I'm a man of word. Solution number 9, none of what we do as adults, perfect segue, matters if we're not training the youth to take our place. Our Dads on Duty, started by brothers, our brother Craig Lee and a few other brothers in Shreveport, Louisiana. That program is now, is what we use. It's the pathway to ensuring our youth are trained and ready to take our place as we lay a foundation of empowerment and freedom for them. So solution number 9 is investing in our youth to take our place, to run spaces where we're the majority. And solution number 10, mobilize, organize, activate, and fight to build a nation within this nation. By taking over predominantly Black and brown spaces where we're the majorities, and this goes back to what Brother Chancellor said, protecting those spaces, because that's where we live. Protecting those spaces as if our lives depended on it, because our lives do depend on us protecting the spaces where we live. So this is the Grow for Care Alliance's version of a Juneteenth event. We want to give our people information that they need, that they can use to motivate them to get out and do. We're up against it. This document is not a joke. We're losing the battle of being empowered and be free. That's only going to be reversed if we find people that are willing to hear the information, understand it, and use it to move forward a bit. That's what we're trying to do here. So if you like anything you've heard over the past 6.5, 7 hours, go to our website, GROW4care.org. Send us some information, we'll respond, and we'll go from there. There's a lot of work to do. I have to now go back and watch all these speeches, take notes, and then create an organized, intelligent response to everything that's been said, and then add to that other people bring to the table. Project 2025 is a document that was created by over 124 conservative white think tanks. It's almost 1,000 pages. I'm not sure if ours is going to be that long, but it's definitely going to be not 5. So we got to put this thing to use, and then we got to get about the work. You didn't see him, but Brother Jeff Drummer, he's always talking about what we going to do, what we going to do, what we going to do. If we don't have a concrete plan of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, which is the whole purpose of what we did here today, then we're going to be hitting our heads against the wall. We got to have programmatic responses that are realistic. So on that note, I want to thank everybody, from the speakers, those that were in the audience, those that watched on Facebook, for taking the time to be a part of this thing. Everything that we do is positive, righteous, and real. We're about moving the Black and brown needle forward, the grassroots needle forward. And of course, we can't do that if we don't understand what a damn needle is, which is why we do what we do. So always remember 2 things: that no one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And lastly, always remember that nothing is more sacred than the empowerment and freedom of our people, because if our people are not free, then you, me, your loved ones, my loved ones, your kids, my kids will not be free, because they're connected to that group. But if we put the group first, if we put the tribe first, if we put the nation first and build power for the people, then the people will be empowered, and they'll protect those that are connected to that group. And then we can move with power like everybody else. So again, thank you guys very much for being here. I appreciate it, and you'll see us soon. Take care, guys. Bye.